Welcome to the final installment of the Building Savages podcast of season one.
Yo,
Got my man
damn,
EP in the house with the immaculate lighting, the fresh baldy straight out of the high rocks.
it's shiny. It's shiny. It's shiny from the fucking sweat. I'm still tired and I'm still sweaty from this fucking competition. It was 2 days ago. 2 days ago. But yeah,
Man,
man, it's the final fucking installment of this, man. Final installment. Crazy how fast it's gone.
we are on episode 30. If you are listening to this, this is episode 30 right now. That's amazing, man.
Mhm.
We've
Yeah,
literally been at this thing for like 6 weeks straight. We probably only took like three
six
weeks
months.
off. Six,
Yeah,
6 months, 6 months. Yeah, probably only
yeah,
took like 3 weeks off of this thing.
yeah.
So we're just kind of making a nice little season finale, and then when the start of the year comes back, we're coming back with it.
Yeah, man. I think putting into seasons makes a little bit of sense. It's just like the beginner stage, and I think like we're gonna start revving shit up, giving you guys a lot more content, getting better at what we need to get
For
better
sure.
at, and like just coming at you with season two and bigger and better.
Of course, of course. We're definitely gonna be doing a lot of building in between times. We're gonna be doing building out more content, finding out new ideas and let this thing grow and just having more fun with it. So we definitely learned a lot within
Yeah,
this first 6 months of really doing the podcast and just giving ourselves that like mental break from it a little bit and just allowing ourselves to come back. So I'm super excited, already thinking of new ideas and already working on some new stuff that when we come back for season two, we'll be ready to roll out.
yeah, man. Super exciting. I mean, damn, man. 6 months came up with an idea, just us talking, and then we got so into it, and so I mean, it's been so enjoyable, man. I hate missing a week. Like we only
Yeah.
missed weeks because we absolutely had to. It wasn't like, you know what, we can skip today. I don't want to talk. But like, nah, bro. Like I was here when I didn't even want to talk.
Yeah, for
It was
sure.
just that enjoyable.
We was here before the mics.
Before the mics, before the HD fucking like lighting, and before this immaculate ass lighting, and before the fucking the posters on Terrace's wall and shit like that.
Well, we started this before you even had your MacBook, right?
Yeah, before I even had
Oh
my Mac.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. I upgraded to a MacBook. We got fucking speakers, new lighting. Oh man, it's official. I'm gonna have a new apartment when we come back, so I'm gonna have a new background and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's up, man.
Yeah,
It's
it's
up.
up.
My man's changing his work schedule,
Yeah,
building out the business.
yeah. A lot more creating systems in place, becoming a little bit more disciplined. Like, the High Rocks, like this High Rocks this weekend, like really showed me like I mean, it showed me what I was capable of now at
Yeah.
like the level that I'm at, and just imagine how much more I can do if I was like a little bit more had systems in place, had my nutrition in place, and had everything like at a high fucking level. And like I was talking to somebody today, it's like, oh, you train pretty hard all the time. It's like there's always room for improvement. Like I like training. Training's easy for me. So what's hard is like nutrition and scheduling and having the discipline and stuff like that, and having to integrate that and having to balance that with having the social life. Like I want to be better at that. I want to be a fucking G at that. So I'm gonna have to level up a little bit, and I think that's gonna come with leveling up the podcast too. So it's cool.
For sure, for sure. Everything moving forward. Well, tell us a little bit about your Hyrax experience. We talked about mine early on. Evan just had his over the weekend, so
Yeah.
let's hear it. This is your first single, right?
Yeah, my first solo dolo one. I did one in the beginning of the year. I think before Terrence did his official one.
Yeah, you
I did
did.
a relay. I did a relay just to like see what the event was, and the event is like really well run. It's like a really smooth event. Like you're in and out for like I mean, it's super quick. Like you know exactly where you're gonna go in and do all the stuff, and you exactly know like what order you're gonna be doing it in. It doesn't change. It's just changing the intent and how fast you do it. But I mean, I got there at 6 in the morning because my boys had to go there. Like their start time was like at 8:30, and my start time was at 11. So I was there like a
Oh
majority of.
wow.
So that and it was their first Hard Rocks, and they made the mistake of deciding to do a relay, and they didn't understand the partner. They thought they were doing a relay where half of they run half, or one of them runs half, and one of them they didn't understand the concept of it. So they were like, "Oh, we signed up for a relay." It's like just you two. It's like, yeah. It's like, no, that's partner. You guys are doing everything together. It's like, oh. So now they were trading for it, and they did a great job. Like I'm really proud of them. Like really proud because they were consistent. They were not. They travel a lot. One of them just found out he's going to be a dad. So
No,
a lot of things are coming are hitting their life. But I'm very proud that they came in and they accepted the challenge. Like it got rough for a minute because the sleds like got one of my boys. Like he pushed the sled and like he saw God and he thought I was drunk at the same time, so he didn't know what was going on for a second. So they had to walk a lap or two or something like that just to recover. But they finished in together 132, which is which is great. I mean, I'm really proud. Their goal was to get 130, and I think that
nice.
they kind of hit it. Um, so yeah, they went, and then I had to get them recovered a little bit, and then I had like an hour. I mean, they started at 8, they finished at 9:30 ish. So I had to wait like an extra hour and a half or whatever like that for mine. So anxiety is starting to boom. But I think I mean, I was listening to Tribe the most of the time because I'm one of those people when I compete, like I never want to be in a very high anxious state because then it just
Got it.
freaks me out. So I'm listening to Tribe Called Quest, trying to calm my heart rate down, start getting warmed up and stuff like that. And actually do like this. I'm telling you this now for anybody who wants to compete in the High Rocks. They have a little station where you try everything before you go. Like
Hmm.
try to figure out like the skier, the rower, where you're gonna put the intensity at. Pull the sled so you can see how heavy the weight is. Like push the sled so you can see if your shoes slip or how your shoes
Yeah.
feel. Um, carry the weights, even though you know what like 45 pounds and kettlebells feels like. Just carry the weights, put the sandbag on your back, do all the stuff like before you even go. So make sure you have enough time to do that. Because in the sled, I knew my shoes were a little too big. So what I did is I got like a little pad in the back of it to close the gap because I got like a open box toe running shoes. I forgot what they're called, but I got those because I wanted to run in something fly, but I also wanted to run like in something that didn't really kill my Achilles and had a little bit of grip. So I bought those. I went on the sled and I practiced the sled, and my shoes were falling off. I was like, fuck.
Oh
So I
wow.
was like, this is gonna ruin my time. So what I did is that thank God I was like, I looked at my boys like, give me your dirty socks right now. So I took dirty socks. I put his socks on top of my socks, so I had double socks, and it made my shoe tighter. So then the sled did it. The sled killed me, but it didn't kill me because my shoes were slipping.
Yeah.
So it helped me out. So always test everything, and then come up with a backup plan just in case. Like always carry 2 pairs of socks because you never know if the shoe's gonna slip when they press. Because that turf sucks, by the way. Um, but as for the high rocks, like my weakness is running. It's always been running. Always been running. And I've been running a lot. And Terrence, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, and Terrence knows I've been running like 5 miles and working on my efficiency and working on my consistency. And I've been running like probably like 5 miles at like an average of like a 9 minute pace, which is like unheard of for me because like running a mile like 2 years ago would have been something you're like fucking kidding me. Now I run
Yeah.
5 without it being a problem.
That's
Um,
crazy.
running was the easiest part, and I can happily say that I think that was the biggest thing for me was making sure that I didn't stop when I was running on the perimeter. Um, I didn't stop. I stopped to run to get water and then run outside, but I made sure like once I stepped past the line of going out to run around, I was making sure that I ran the whole time. And I did not stop when I ran around the perimeter. So that was good. It was literally recovery for me. Like it did not feel anything hard. I mean, I wasn't pushing the fucking pace like some of these guys are who are like finishing in under an hour or like
Crazy.
close to an hour, but like I made sure like I was running efficiently and I was having a pace and being able to do the exercises effectively and without killing myself. But talking about exercises, that sled boy, ooh,
Which
that's
one for you? Was it the pull push or was it just
both,
both?
both, man. Like that push, like got me, and I'm like pushing sleds all the time, but like it just got me winded, man. And recovery for that, I was like, I did a sled, I said the push, I started running, I was like, oh no, I can't run right now. Like my legs already, like my quads were like huge. So running the first lap after that was like painful, and then after that, kind of obviously like it loosens you up a little bit, and you start
Yeah.
recovering from that. Then the sled pull, because that's something that I didn't train before. I never trained the sled pull, and I thought I had it down, bro. Chalking up every single time, trying to pull it, and like again, like I'm the one of the smallest guys out there, so pulling that bitch, bro. Oh, that sled sucked. I didn't think it was gonna be that hard. Like it was more hard on my legs than it was my hands, but it's also my hands were slipping too, because like no matter how many times I put on chalk, I could never have enough because my hands were sweaty. So Then after that, you had the burpees to broad jump, which is complete bullshit, by the way. But burpees to broad jump wasn't bad, but I was slipping on the turf because it was already wet because people were sweating on it.
Mm,
So I didn't want to get like a tech because like I kept moving. So I had to like jump, pause, take a second, breath, slip, pause, and like try not to slip myself too much because I didn't want anybody to tech me. So it took me a while to do it. And to be honest, like I'm not gonna lie and stay here. I could have done it faster because there was no way I could have done it any faster than that. But I also didn't want to slip and bust my ass and then like hurt myself on doing stuff. So I took my time. After that, like the row was like fucking. After that, everything else was fucking easy. The
yeah.
row was like recovery for me. The carries were like nothing. The carries didn't hurt my hands; it hurt my calves.
Mm.
Because
Did you
like
run with it or you walked it the whole
I
time?
kind of ran, walked, but like my calves were killing me because of the amount of pressure I was putting because of like the weights. Like it was
Yeah.
just like killing my calves. Like my hands were in anything. I probably dropped it twice, so like it was nothing crazy. Um, had a good pace on the lunges. Lunges are super easy for me. Short man. That's like a gift of being short. Um, and then the wall balls kind of did suck because like I was training for it lower when I was throwing and it was higher. So like I was like probably like I probably did like 125 instead of doing 100 because I kept missing the fucking mark.
It's just
Uh,
annoying.
it's just so annoying. And then there was this guy. This is one of the best parts. One of the guys was like motivating me. He's like, yeah, yeah, come on, come on, come on, you got it, you got it. And he came back. He's like, you're not done. And this is when I just hit the 100. He's like, yeah, I'm done. Tell him. And I told the lady to I looked at the lady, tell him. And she's like, he's done. Bet. And I ran away. But yeah, no, it's a fun event. Like anything else, I like to compete for something because it gives me something to look inside of, or forward to. Um, but I'm very proud of the way that I went out there and running was the biggest thing. Like the
Yeah.
exercises were not nothing, but like if I couldn't recover during the run, there was no way I was gonna get the time that I wanted to get. So the running was the hugest thing for me, and I'm very proud of the way that I was able to not slow down like when I was on the perimeter. Like that was the most important thing to me. And I
Oh
think I did
man.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Is
And
this something that you think you want to do as like a gym moving forward, or you kind of want to keep it for yourself?
maybe a little bit of both. Like I don't
Okay.
mind doing it for myself. I think I inspired some people to do it because my boss was like, "Oh, like I'll do it with my husband or I'll do it with my brother."
Yeah.
But I think it's like it's one of those things where like you do it and people be like, "Oh, like if he can do it, I can do it, or maybe we can start training for it." So and you know me, like I'm more of the person that doesn't inspire by what they say. I inspire by action. I just do it, and then hopefully like people will follow me and then get inspired. But my two friends want to do it again, and they were like, "I'm not satisfied with that. I want to do it again, and I want to get better at it." I was like, "Cool, let's fucking do it." So let's sign
Nice.
up for another one. Um, and then yeah, I think if we could do it as a gym, that would be cool as fuck. But we'll see.
Yeah, Ashley literally just texted me about it today because ours is coming up for Jersey in June.
Okay.
And then I want to knock out a Spartan race before that as well. I want to do a 10K in April, so that would
Okay.
actually keep me in pretty good shape for the High Rocks too.
Nice. Yeah,
Get ready
that
for
can't
that.
be both. And running is your weakness too, so I think it'll be good for you
Definitely.
to kind of start running too.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely, definitely.
yeah.
Oh,
We talked about before, like as like meatheads, like running is like the last thing you want to do as a meathead. But you gotta understand, like as you get older, like running is something that you either use it or you lose it, and not being able to run a mile is like it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it in the grand scheme of things of
it
people that
is.
run marathons and stuff like that. So like being able to have the endurance and having the capability to run, even if it's just like a mile or a mile or two, whatever like that, is like, man, that's unfortunately, like I don't think it's a gift because we should be able to do it. But like if you think about it as a gift, like people who aren't able to run stuff like that or
Of
aren't
course.
able or who can't run a mile right now, like that's a gift right there. Be like run, bro. Like I don't think it's that. It's really not as hard as you think. It's just because you haven't done it in forever.
Yeah.
It's like
Movement
anything
is a
else.
luxury, man. It really
Yeah,
is. It's a privilege to be able to move. And the people that, let's say, have disabilities that look at people that have this gift of just like freedom of movement, like they want to be able to do these things.
exactly.
So to see
Yeah,
people like unwillingly just kind of sacrificing that ability kind of sucks to see.
exactly. Yeah. We talked about that before. We're not gonna get too deep into that. Today's more about
Reflection, man. The end of
it.
the year.
Yeah, man.
It's the
Of our year.
2023 wrap up.
Yeah, man. It's the end of our year, man. This is the last one you're gonna hear from us for a while. So I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
let's talk the shit.
We're recording this in real time on Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
So we got Thanksgiving coming up Thursday. So I'm actually taking off that day. I was talking to some people because like back in the day I used to be like the rah rah guy, like, oh, we're gonna train on holidays and whatever, yada yada. Like with age, it's like
Bro.
everybody can miss a day. Like I'm
Exactly, yeah.
okay. I'm-
Everybody can miss a day. Yeah, Thanksgiving, bro. Thanksgiving, especially Thanksgiving, man, it's my favorite holiday. Like, I can skip Christmas. Like, it don't bother me. But I need to spend time with my family on Thanksgiving because I want to stuff my face and just chill.
I love my
I feel like,
Christmas, man.
yeah, I'm not saying I don't like Christmas. I had somebody was arguing with me the other day or today. It was like, you don't like Christmas? I was like, no, I like Christmas. I just feel like it's also one of those things where like um people want instead of like give. You know what I mean? And it just feels kind of weird. For me, it's just like Thanksgiving is about being surrounded by people. You know what I mean? Christmas is about for whatever reason, like that's just the way I kind of think. It's about giving and receiving. But like I like again, I like Christmas. I want gifts also. But I also want food and I love the food in Thanksgiving. And my mom is fucking beast. I think she's making pork this year. She's not making turkey. Oh,
We're getting oxtail for ours this year.
ooh.
Yeah,
Nice. That's good.
got the
I wouldn't
Jamaican
have thought about
oxtail
that one.
coming
That's
in.
good. Yeah, okay.
I told my family I was like I just this is the last straw. I was like I just don't like turkey, man. Like it just
Oh,
doesn't do it for me.
turkey isn't that good. Turkey's like a low level poultry. It's
Yeah.
100% true.
I
I mean,
tried
like,
it every way. Like we tried the bacon wrap turkey one year. It was decent.
yeah,
We tried the deep fried turkey. That's the best version of turkey I like.
yeah.
This is we tried so many different ways, and I was just like, I just can't do it, man. It's just not for me. So I was talking to my boy and was talking to my mom. I was like, you know what? I want some oxtail, some oxtail for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
So we got
Uh,
somebody to cater some oxtail for us. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I love that. Last year, my mom went all out and she made, I think she made penne and turkey, and she went all out.
Mm,
She also made, we did like, so we were a very traditional, like super white Thanksgiving, like turkey stuffing, potato salad, and I mean other stuff too, like
yeah, stuffing,
desserts and
shit
stuff.
like that.
But as I'm getting older and like as we're further away from Jersey, we don't get Spanish food. Or like we get Mexican food. Spanish food and Mexican food are two different things if you don't understand the
Yep.
difference. So so now like when we get there, we might have the turkey, but we might do pernil and then or which is pork. And we might do mofong. We did mofongo one year. We did empanadas.
Yeah.
We did all that stuff just to like get a little bit of flavor back into like Texas. Yeah, I mean, because I'm not gonna have tacos every day. Which but I didn't say I wouldn't. I said I could, but I'm not. But yeah, it's a little different. And I love. I'm just a little tangent, but I fucking love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. But like I was just telling people, and even now, like I told you, I'm taking the last 2 weeks of December off. Like that's like my new thing to do at the end of every year, just because like when that, I guess I just experienced it on my side. Like it just gets real slow around the last like 2 weeks, or even just like December in general. People have Christmas parties. Some people are away. Some people they from their jobs they have like a bunch of time off, so it's like they don't get rollover for the next year, so they'll just kind of end up just using it just to stay home. So I'm like, people are pretty much tapped out of the year by like the second week of December,
Oh, for
and
sure.
they're by the first week of December, depending on who the what their work situation is. So I'm like, you know what, I just use this time for like a mental reset, mental break, and just like really prep myself up for the next year. I got my awards coming in. Like at this time when this episode comes out, I will have already passed out my Build and Beast awards. So this
Nice.
will be like the third year of me doing this. I got biggest transformation, the Build and Beast MVP award. I have the most improved. I have fighter of the year, athlete of the year. I have this one called Eye of the Beast. That's like really focused, consistent. very like determined, just hard worker. Like that's what that award represents, and I have a most consistent award too. So I'm excited to throw those out, and I actually buy people trophies, which is the cool part.
Nice. There you
So
go.
now being that online grew, this is the first time that I have online has their own like separate award show. So
Yeah,
before I kind of mixed in like best online athlete or client or whatever. But this year, like I have had a pretty good running with online all year. So now moving forward, it's like I'll have my in-person awards and I'll have like my online community awards, so I can separate the two. So I'm excited about rolling that out for the first year.
that's great. I mean, a lot. It doesn't sound dumb. I think people like will make it sound dumb, but like when you think about it like that, is people appreciate shit like that.
Of
People appreciate
course.
like you taking notice of like how important that or their steps that they're taking or how important they are to you. The amount of value that that brings is fucking insane. So
And
I love it.
the
Awesome.
way that I thought about it too, because it was just like as adults, like I feel like you don't really get rewarded for much.
Yeah.
You know, like as a kid, we typically give positive feedback. It's like, oh, you did such a good job, and kids get stickers and like little fun shit just to kind of encourage kids to keep doing stuff. But as adults, like unless you're like really a part of something, like there's not much things that you kind of receive for that. I mean, unless you have some family who just naturally or loved ones that naturally like to do good things for you, but like in your work environments or anything like that, sometimes a lot of people just kind of don't receive things in that
Yeah.
nature. So I just tried to bring that to my community and just like give people something excited to look forward to, instead of and I think that's over the past couple years I just been thinking of like how do you continue to make the client experience funner? How do you give people something to look forward to? And I think it just kind of brings like a little more of a personable side to like the training aspect. It makes people feel like their work has been seen, and
Yeah.
even the people, let's say, who didn't win the awards, like they look at it like, oh wow, like look at what this person did. Like it kind of gives them something to aspire to. And this, I had a really good year with a lot of my athletes. This one was actually pretty hard picking certain winners. Like it was like kind of damn near toss ups to certain people. There was only one award that it went down to a draw, so I actually ended up giving both awards for that.
Okay.
Um, but I don't do like second place, third place. It's just like the winner awards. I don't really do the participation awards thing, but
Being first, you last, Ricky Bobby.
yeah, pretty much. you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. It's dope. I'll be passing out those awards within the first 2 weeks of December. Probably the
Nice.
first week. Just knock them out, take some pictures, and I usually give people like a nice note, just like highlighting their year and just like giving them their flowers for the year, just for like a awesome 2023, and then just setting us up for 2024. So I'm excited. I feel like me and you talked about our 2023. We were just in a mindset of just like being on go mode.
Yeah.
So I feel like I did a phenomenal job at that this year, and honestly, for 2024, it's just everything that I set myself up for, and that action driven mentality that I had in 2023. I'm just keeping my foot on the gas pedal for 2024. I don't really have like so much new things that I'm planning out for. It's pretty much literally just expanding on all the seeds that I created in this last year. Even like the podcast, like we pushed a button on that. So now
Mm.
it's like podcast expansion. By the
Yeah.
time this video is out, like our website is going to be fully up and running. The episodes are going to be all on there, like just little things like that. By the time season 2 comes out, better camera quality, everything just moving forward. So it's like we started off with a vision, we're expanding it. Same thing in my personal my business. I started off working with a few fighters at the gym. I'm like 15 plus at the moment, working with some of the guys there, and got like a couple pro fights under my belt with one of the guys I'm working with at the gym, Jordan Golden Gloves champ. Like little shit like that. It's like we're really moving in a big direction. One of the girls I was training from the gym, she won a national competition under my belt. Like little shit like that. Um, one of the girls I train online, shout out to her, she does sambo and she's like traveling the world to go train in sambo. She was in DR and
Wow.
where was she? I don't want to fuck up what country she was at last, but she was in Europe somewhere, like competing. So just kind of seeing like where this is starting to expand with some of this. It's just like in 2024 at this point, it's just like just keep doing the things that you're doing, working on building out more content, working
Mhm.
on building out the online community even more. So I don't necessarily have like new things that I'm trying to work on. I'm just trying to take everything that exists and I'm just trying to explode it and just trying to blow it up even more.
I love that. I think people need to realize, like, we're not talking about New Year's resolutions because that's 100% different. But like a lot of times, like you don't need to do different shit. You just need to do things better, and
Yeah,
or just
honestly.
like just develop something a little bit in a better structure, or just increase the value of it. A lot of people would be like, "Well, this didn't work, so I'm gonna just do something else because it's a new year, new me kind of thing." Like, nah, just sometimes it's just like continue what you're doing because what you're doing laid the seeds. Now you got to go ahead and water the
For
plant
sure.
or whatever the fuck it's you wanna use that. So I mean, I love that. I love that you're continuing what you're doing, and I'm happy to be a part of that ride.
For sure, bro.
For me this year had a lot of ups and downs. But I wouldn't like change it for anything because it taught me so much, and I love like the lessons that I learned, and I love that we started this stuff. So for me, this year was more about intention and value and understanding that, and trying to be intentional with social media, intentional with dating, intentional with uh the structures that I had in place and the training that I was doing and stuff like that. I did very well. Again, a lot of ups and downs, and I'm a very up and down kind of person, but I'm more than vulnerable to see it and call it correct. So that's something that I'm going to continue doing. But for me, next year, I have a different kind of go mode. My go mode is I want to go, like I want to travel. Like
Nice, yo.
that's gonna be the biggest thing for me. I actually bought like a fucking expensive ass like travel backpack for myself just because I want to do more. I want to travel more. I want to experience more. And that's probably going to be the thing of 2024 is experiencing and also creating systems of discipline and I mean increasing the value of what I do. So for traveling, for me, I already have a couple pieces into play. In January, I am going to Colorado for a bachelor trip. Okay, that's gonna be. I'm never gone ice snowboarding, so I'm gonna be high on the mountain. We talked about that before. Um,
The
and then I
Building
want.
Savages podcast does not condone
Yeah,
any
we do
drug
not
activity
condone.
on
Yeah, put the warning on the
snowboarding and ski
bottom.
trips.
Yeah, put the warning on the
The
bottom
red
when I'm.
disclaimer line going across. We do not
Yeah,
condone any illegal activities.
yeah, just look at the bottom of the screen and just don't
Well, if
do the
there's any place you're gonna go get high and do snowboarding, it
board.
would be
Yeah, it's there.
Colorado.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but after that, I have Mexico. I've never been to Mexico, and I live right here. Like I might as well just go. So I'm gonna go with a bunch of friends. July is gonna be Colombia for a wedding. So
Oh,
I'm probably gonna get there early, go wedding, and then stay there a little later. Probably like because it's 4th of July, so I have a couple extra days
what
off.
part of
So,
Colombia?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
I forget off the top of my head. But yeah, that's gonna be a good trip. So 2 out of country trips. The last one I might go back home to Jersey because I haven't been back home in a while. I don't consider that like vacation, but I consider that like just
Like a getaway type of thing,
getaway, a reset, and quality time more than
for
anything.
sure.
Because sometimes you have to bounce around so much and try to appease to everybody's like um schedules and stuff like that, and they're at home, so like they don't feel like they're taking vacation. And then probably I want to go back to PR. I've been back to Puerto Rico in forever, so I'm trying to fit that in. So 4 or 5 trips this year. This year I probably went on 2. Next year I'm trying to go on 5 or 6.
Where'd you go this year?
This year, where did I go this year? I mean Florida. Where else did I go? Costa Rica was 2 years ago, was it? So Costa Rica was last year. Costa Rica was last year. Um,
2022.
yeah, 2022 or 2022 was Costa Rica. Um, so yeah, so I didn't go to that many places. But this year I'm making it an intention to go travel more, even if it's like with a few people or like one person or by myself. Like I want to go do those things. Um, so yeah. Other than that, man, it's just like fucking leveling things up. Like working on my discipline. Like the High Rocks, if anything, like really inspired me to level my training up. And we talked about it a little bit before about I think we talked about a little bit before the podcast how someone was talking to me, was like, well, I see all the videos online. You train so hard. It's like there's always room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. So like if my training's gotta change. I also want to get back into jujitsu. So my training's gotta train for jujitsu. And I also have to run more. So then that also means that if I'm doing so much, my nutrition has to be on point. And also my recovery has to be on point. I also have to have a social life. So like balance and intention will probably be the two themes that I'm gonna have next year.
I
Because
like
I also
that.
have to start. I also have to fucking. I'm also being more intentional on dating, which dating is not. We're not making this a dating show, and dating fucking sucks. Just letting you know right now. But it's also part of the game that I have to play.
Yeah.
So I acknowledge that, and I'm enjoying it right now. But again, it's also part of the game that I got to play. So I understand it.
It sounds like you're moving into like a personal journey.
Yeah, for
More
sure.
so than a perfect. Like I think like your professional has been so system and like so moving along. Now it's allowing you just like you know what, I need to open up more capacity for the personal things in my life.
Exactly. Yeah, I need to be a little bit more social. Like I don't need to be a little bit more social. I think I'm social enough. But I think people tell me whatever. I'm an introvert. Let me live. But yeah, I think it's a lot more personal development because I think I did enough. I did a lot for the last couple of years of making excuses of like I have to work on the business. I have to do this. I have to do that. And I think I'm at a place now where I'm not comfortable, but like in a place now where I can get away from it for a little bit and still come back and still hit it hard without it sacrificing or hitting places that I don't want it to hit. That I can go out for a week and still find a place and be happy and get away and stuff like that. Like I need to appreciate the moments that I have because I mean, as I'm getting older, like I mean, I want to be able to do this stuff when I'm young, and then maybe when I have a kid, I'm not gonna be able to because I see that all the time now.
Yeah.
All these friends are having kids and stuff like that now. They can't travel, so it sucks. For not for them, but like just in general, I just want to make sure I'm experiencing the stuff I can experience this like at this young and beautiful fucking age of 31, and I'm
Yeah.
bald.
And I was actually having this conversation with one of my friends earlier, and I was telling her I was like sometimes people that are workaholics are kind of like that because they're filling a void of something that's lacking in a personal way. So it's like your way of just kind of keeping afloat is like I'm gonna create more busy work, not even necessarily like effective like production work. It's just like busy work just to keep you
Yeah,
going.
exactly. Yeah, I'm one of those people. I always need something to do, and
Yeah,
like that'll always distract me from something else. So like that's where my focus goes to. So I want to make sure that I'm a lot more intentional where my focus goes to. Like honestly, like I might like the entirety. I want to take a month off on social media, like my phone and stuff like that, just to kind of detox myself. Even though a lot of my business is on there, but I think that's a sacrifice I'm gonna make to mentally feel better. But yeah, for sure, it's a personal journey that I need to take. I think it's gonna be more fun. I
I
think it's
think
gonna
so
be a
too.
lot more fun and actually bring a lot more value to my professional stuff. Because if you don't
Yeah.
have a balance there, like in both spots, if you're just too much in one side, like the other side's gonna get hurt, and it's hard to kind of bounce back from that.
Yeah, and it goes back to the conversation we had before, just kind of figuring out what's important to you, right? And then once you figure out what's important to you, like how do you open up and create the capacity for it? And
Exactly.
I think taking that social media break would be good, especially if there's any time to kind of do it, it would be around this time now in that holiday season where it's like you're just with the close ones and the loved ones that care and love you, and you have that availability to kind of spend that extra time with them during the holiday season. And that's something that I kind of looked at with age is just like, the holiday season is a holiday season for a reason, right? If it's giving us the availability to take these times, to take these days off, if you have a job that allows for it, then take it. You know what I mean? It's like someone missing a day at the gym, like they're gonna be okay. And
Yeah.
I always say, especially as like us coaches and like service professionals, I'm like, your clients or your athletes will be the first ones telling you, "Hey, I'm going for 2 weeks. I'm going to Costa Rica for the spring or whatever the case is. Or I'll be out for the next month because I'm doing yada yada." And it's just like they're gonna prioritize that for themselves. So it's important that we also, value the same things, and create that capacity. One of my clients told me, she was like, travel the world, like get out there, have fun, because and your loved ones, and especially when you have children, she was like, one thing they're gonna remember when you missed an important event.
Yeah.
They're gonna remember, and you're not gonna remember that day of work. She was like, you're not gonna remember that day of work, but what you will remember is that you missed this big event for your family or your loved ones,
Mhm.
just because you decided to do a couple hours at work. And this is someone who pays me telling me that shit.
Yeah.
And when she broke it down that way, I was like, damn, you're right. So even like this year, I feel like we're the journey that you're heading to in 2024 is like some of the realizations that I started having in 2023. I went to
Mhm.
mad concerts. I went
I
to I
did.
went to a lot of concerts. I went to the Beyonce concert, which was like my first like major artist type of like a stadium tour. Like I
Yeah.
never did that before. I got my passport last year. That was a big deal for me.
Nice.
I actually went to Mexico and I went to Colombia.
Mhm.
Those are the two
Nice.
places that you're going next year. So that was my first time actually leaving the country. I took a couple like weekend getaways. I got a nice trip coming up, and kind of like a weekend trip or like a midweek trip coming up in like the last 2 weeks of December. It's my girl's birthday, so I'm taking her a couple states out. Going to go to a nice place out there. I can't reveal it yet because it's a surprise, and I don't know when this episode is gonna drop
Yeah,
in
yeah, bro,
terms
yeah.
of
Don't say, bro. Don't be
in
sneaky
case
right
she's
now, man.
listening.
Don't ruin it. Nah, nah, nah. Don't be
Let me not
ruining
ruin
it.
it.
I'm not asking. That's why I ain't asking the question. I don't know.
Because I'm thinking of the schedule when this drops. I'm like, I don't know if this drops around the time that
It's
we're
not
gonna be
worth it,
going
bro.
or not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Keep
you
that in the
stay
hush.
quiet.
We'll put it in the we'll put it in the bio. Yes, he went to.
Yeah. Actually, let's just block out this whole part when we drop
Like,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll just edit it. It'll just be black for like 2 minutes.
But nah, so that was important to me. Like I went to see Mary J. Blige in concert this year. Like taking out my family to do things. Taking my mom out to do stuff. My mom's health is getting a lot better, and like this year I really started like appreciating and seeing the value and just like creating capacity for a personal life.
Mhm.
Like in when I started doing that, honestly, it made me work harder.
Yeah.
That was the big takeaway I had from it, because it's like now that you're valuing these things outside of it, like it gives you a reason to work harder so you can create more capacity for it.
Yeah.
So then you start looking at like time management, and now it's like, oh shit, okay, let me create a schedule to allow for these things that I want now, and it becomes a cycle after a while. It's like these things recharge you to go back to work, opposed to you just kind of redundantly just beating yourself over and over and over. And this is how we lead to burnout. This is how we lead to not being inspired, and it gets too like routine,
Yeah.
and it just becomes like almost too consistent to where it doesn't really give you any breathing room.
Mhm.
Like there's been I found myself a couple times this year just going back into like that 7 day a week mentality. And I was like, this is unhealthy. It's like I need to make sure I at least have like a day or a day and a half where it's just like I'm not answering anything work related. I naturally I love to work and I love what I do, so I'm always gonna work a lot, but still having at least like a day to where it's just like all the online feedback and everything is like it can wait. And that's what I started telling myself, like things can wait. Like none of this is as emergency as it really seems to be. When new clients hit me up or like they inquire, if it's on a certain day where like my work hours are shut, I just respond to it on a Monday. I'm like, other businesses do it, what's the difference?
Yeah.
What's the difference? And I'm like, you have to create that boundary, because we think that responding to something really quick is like, oh, it's just a quick message, I can respond to it. But no, it brings your attention to it, which means it's taking your attention away from something else. And that goes right back to the conversations that we had before, where it's just like trying to manage too many things at once or trying to multitask, and it's like you're splitting your energy, or you're splitting your attention in too many different ways. It's like and think about it, like we're individuals, running our system. So it's not like we got an assistant to be like, hey, knock this out for me and we'll get to it or whatever. Like it's us at the end of the day. So it's like you have to create those work boundaries. You know what I mean? Like at 9:30, I cut my phone off, do not disturb for anything work related. 6 o'clock in the morning, I'll respond to everything when I wake up. Well, I'm up before that, but like that's when my work hours will start.
Yeah.
But like that's been helping me on my day to day too. So now it's not like, oh, it's 11 o'clock, I'm about to go to sleep. Let me respond to this email really quick, or let me respond to this Instagram request of yada yada. And it's like, dude, just it's not an emergency. It can wait. Save
Yeah.
it for your work day, and now you'll have more energy to like fully respond to it even the way that you need to, because you're not just trying to rush it and get it out the way just because like that notification hit your phone. It's not an
Yeah.
emergency. It can wait.
I think I think this is where, and we're both millennials, and I think this is where like we need to give it up to like the people that are younger than us and the Gen Z, because they appreciate that stuff more. They pay attention to that stuff more than us. Like they'll take a lot more time for themselves, or they'll like only focus on one thing at a time, or like whatever. I mean, again, Gen Zs and like TikTok, that shit's annoying. But for them to be vulnerable enough and understand that stuff at such a young age is important, because like both me and you were grown up at a time where like it's nothing but hard work. Like that's how you get everything. Like you need to be working all the fucking time because that's what our parents told us. But then the generation before us are now like, well, I need to work that hard. Like I can take a second or whatever like that to do whatever I need to do to achieve X, Y, and Z or whatever like that. And again, they're different than us or whatever like that. But I think it's also very important to understand that they have a better balance of that. They have a better work balance.
I don't know if they have a better work balance though. Obviously, this is a case by case, and we're
Yeah.
generalizing. But like, sometimes I feel like they're so far on the other side that it almost makes them lazy.
Well, that's fair enough. I think it, but it's also it's case by case basis. But
Yeah.
it's also like perspective, because we think, because we work so goddamn hard, anybody that works less than us is lazy to a certain extent. Like I'm not saying that I again, I'm not giving praise to them for being effective for working less hours and whatever like that. I still think they're kind of lazy no matter what. But they are it, for the people that are in more of the gray area in that generation, that's something that we have problems listening to at our age or our generation. Yeah, I mean, like this is still so new to us about having like this balance, because it used to just be professional and just fucking work your ass off, and then after you turn 50 you can start vacationing and stuff like that. Nowadays it's like, bro, like you're working to be able to have a personal life. You know what I mean? Like my parent, like I love mom and dad to death. Like they didn't have any time for a personal life because they all they did was work and take care of me, because
Mhm.
that's what they were like thought they needed to do. You know what I mean? And of course, like I mean, they did everything they could for me, but I wish they had a little bit more of a personal life, because now they're retired and they don't do too much. You know what I mean? And it sucks. Like if they actually took the time out to have a personal life, maybe they can go travel more, they can go do this more, they can have hobbies and stuff like that. But like the generation before us, like all they knew was fucking work, because that was before that, before that, before that. I mean, now it's like work and having the work life balance. Like work life balance didn't exist for our parents, bro. The fuck was work life balance when we were younger? The shit didn't exist. So in the grand scheme of things, like I still think Gen Z sucks, and I think we're better than everybody else because we're millennials and we're awesome. But for them for them having a gray area of having a better of understanding having a work life balance and it being effective to them, like is something that we should take pieces of, not the whole thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we are moving into space where people are trying to learn how to work, I think, smarter, which is
Yeah,
the conversation like we're really trying to have. It's
exactly.
like but like with anything, like when you have that mentality, sometimes you can have people that are so far in the extreme to where it's like now you have the people that's trying to do the bare minimum to get by,
Yeah,
and then you also have on the other extreme, it's like people just kind of doing too much. And now it's almost like you don't want to work so hard off of a shitty system because now it's just busy work instead of productive work. And
yeah,
then you also don't want to feel like you're so entitled to where like you don't have to work to get any type of results. So
exactly.
it's like I feel like with maturity and really like having alignment to knowing what you need for yourself and also what you want for yourself, once you figure out the correct system, then you kind of learn how to pace yourself in that system. And I just went through a schedule switch recently, and I can see how this is going to play out for me going into 2024. I'm already feeling the benefits within this in the first 2 to 3 weeks. Like the
Yeah.
way my Mondays are set up and how it sets me up for the week. And I'm finding myself with more time, which is what I'm trying to do at the end of the day. Is like the system that I'm trying to create today is how do I continue to buy more time and how do I continue to be more effective?
Mhm.
Because I'm always trying to prepare for if I had more load than I have now.
Yeah.
And more load than I have now doesn't mean I need to work harder. It means I need to create better systems to be able to manage whatever's to come. So if I have the system in play to take on, let's say, 10 more athletes that already exist, then that sets me up to be able to manage what I already have.
Yeah.
And now we can look at the same amount of hours that I'm working, I can now produce the same value because that's important for me to too. I want to make sure that I can produce the same value and the same service with the load management that I currently have. And now moving on to that next management, I can continue or even improve on the service and value that I have with a bigger load, which now makes me an even more effective coach. So now if I can handle 60 athletes by myself with the same system, or let me not say the same system because it will be a new and improved system, but with the same work hours that I managed 30 with, that's a fucking win. Now
Yeah.
you're talking about productivity at this point,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like how I view training today, right? Like I used to be in the gym for like 2 to 3 hours, and I feel like my workouts today, I get 3 times as much done in a third of the time than when I used to do those 2 to 3 hour workouts. Like it's
Yep.
more efficiency involved today. So now you're looking at, and that's what I tell people. I'm like, you really shouldn't judge the duration of everything you do. You want to judge the efficiency of what you do within the duration. Because I'm
Exactly.
like, 2 hours can look very different for many people,
Mhm.
and I took that logic and I started moving that into my business to where it's like, okay, yeah, I might have worked 12 hours today, but how much did I get done? That's a different question. So if I can get done in 4 hours what I was doing in 12 hours, what's the better day?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that 4 hours every fucking day. It might sound good from the outside, be like, yeah, man, I'm working these 12 hours, whatever, yada yada. But if your attention is split and you're bullshitting through those 12 hours and you're just allowing yourself to be busy and not productive, then what are we doing? We're actually
Yeah.
losing capacity of things that we can be building out just because you want to be busy and not produce anything.
Mhm.
So now it's like that's where the question become that's where I guess the questions I keep asking myself as I'm continuing to grow is like, all right, how do I continue to be more effective within the time that I wish to devote, and how do I continue to grow from that? Because I also know that there is time that I wish to devote to personal life and just mental break.
Yeah.
Like that's important to me too. So even in this 2 week break that I'm gonna be taking from work and us taking the podcast break, all that does is recharge for whatever this new system is that we're gonna start to create, and it's more efficiency that we start to create. Even like how we do the clipping for like the advertisement and the reels and stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's a better system, and now it's a lot quicker to produce reels than it was when we first started because now we created the system to get it done. So what seemed like such a hassle so much to get 60 seconds where something like that, let's say, took us 30 to 45 minutes, today takes 5 to 10.
Yeah.
So now we can produce way more of a clip this way and way more content in a shorter amount of time because we created a better system than we did before. And that just takes time when you just start figuring this thing out and you just continue to move.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm continuing to try to find with every avenue that I'm continuing to step into is like how do I continue just to be more efficient and less time consuming.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, like how much you are in like a system fucking kick. Like Terrence is a system fucking savage. But
Seriously.
like what I love about what you brought up is that I remember watching this video. This video is this guy, this marketing guy, This marketing guy, this guy's asking the marketing guy, it's like, how much would it take you to make this thing or whatever like that, this logo or whatever like that. It's like, all right, I'm gonna give you two options. All right, option one is me making this logo and it takes me a month, and you pay X amount. Okay. And option two is making this logo, and then you pay. It takes me 4 hours to make the same logo. It takes me 4 hours to make the logo, but you're paying the same price. He's like, why am I paying the same price for a logo that only took you 4 hours? Because it's the same exact, but it's the same exact thing. It's like, yeah, but it's because my value of what I understood and what you exactly gave me took me only 4 hours to do, because the systems that I put into place and the way that I work and the way that I do things, okay, is valued for 4 hours. Like, you're gonna pay me less for the same logo if I work less, even though it's the same thing and it can create this much more value.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because now what happens is that I created this logo for you. It took me 4 hours instead of a month. And now you can use that logo for that said month while you're still waiting for a logo or whatever like that. It was a lot better described. I'm not the greatest
No, I know
storyteller.
exactly what you're saying because it's like you're not paying me for my time, you're paying me
I
for my
pay
results. Paying me
exactly.
for my
So
value.
exactly. You're paying for my value. And people need to understand that just because you're working a shit ton of hours, like that month of that person making the logo, that person was doing four or five other logos. That person was doing God knows what on his fucking phone or doing whatever else. But this guy did this shit in 4 hours, only focused on exactly what he did, looked at what you did, and like made that his main priority, got it done. It's exactly the same thing, but it's exactly giving you what you want. Like, why would you pay him less? That's value.
Yeah, and at a higher quality of what you would have paid for like a
Exactly.
cheaper service. Because also, like, even when I got someone to do my logo, I learned of like the different files that it saves under. I didn't know anything about that shit. So a lot of people, when they're putting logos together, it's just kind of like clip art, and then they feel like they could throw it everywhere. But it's like, no, you got PNG files, which is a transparent background. You got JPEG, which is the typical like white background there, and you have the SVG that you like. It's this shit gets layered, and then it goes into like copywriting, logo, and all shit like that. So it's like when you're paying for someone who has a high quality service, there's things in there that you sometimes don't even know the backstory or like the background workings of some of this stuff. But being that you're going to like a true professional, they're gonna take care of you in those ways all the way through. So
Exactly.
it's worth it,
Yeah.
So I was just having this conversation yesterday too, just in terms of like people paying for something valuable opposed to just trying to go the cheaper route because like almost like a coach, right? Like you can be looking, oh well, why am I gonna pay this coach X, Y, and Z when I can just go over to this gym and they're gonna charge me, let's say $50 less than you. What's the difference from me and what's the difference from this coach over here? Like you guys do the same thing. No, we're not the same coach though. That's the difference. So like when you come into my gym, on top of things that I know that I can get done in the snap of a finger, the way that I operate, the energy that I create in the gym, the community that I bring together, the what building beats actually is, the value of that is just completely different. Like you can't repurpose this. You can't recreate it anywhere else because this is unique. It's
Mm,
nothing that you've ever seen before. The same way how Simply Savage is nothing that you've ever seen before.
exactly.
So it's like, yeah, you might have a coach over here, but the way that this thing runs and the value that this operates over here, it can't be reproduced. That's the difference.
Yeah. It's I like to use that analogy for a tattoo artist. Just like, all
Yep.
right, like yeah, it's like, would you rather pay $50 for a tattoo like in the fucking backyard with like a dude that doesn't clean his needles, that or a guy who charges like $1,000 an hour, and you're gonna have that thing forever, bro. Like you're gonna have that thing forever. You want to pay $50 and like get a fucking have to get a tetanus shot after or whatever like that, like getting infected because you decided to only pay $50 for something. So it's about value, and it's about like what you're willing to pay for it and like how much that person values their art or their own value. You know what I mean? Like I'll pay $1,000 every time for fucking high quality shit because I know that I'm gonna get high quality shit. I mean, I don't want no half-ass stuff. I mean, if you want a half-ass stuff, then just pay $50 and get a fucking and then go to the hospital right after. wants a green tattoo anyway? Like the fuck?
I saw a really cool logo, a slogan on. I want to say this person did like sheetrock or landscaping or something like that, and it I'll just sum it up, but it pretty much says like paying for this service, like it doesn't cost you, it pays you, if that
Yeah,
makes sense, you know. And I thought that was like a really cool way of like promoting themselves because it's just like we're promoting that we're valuable. So in the long run, this pays off for you, opposed to just this feeling like it's an expense.
yeah,
You know, it's almost like you're investing in us.
exactly. I think that the word investing is very powerful because it's the same. It's one of those things where like, let's just say you went to a sheetrock guy or whatever like that. You went to a contractor and you paid bottom dollar for it for that thing, and all of a sudden like their house breaks down or like the shit falls off. You're paying twice as much because like you have to refix that, rebuild that, and you would have been paying once for some high quality contractor getting the shit done correctly, and you never would have to think about it again. Now you have to think about it 2 or 3 extra times. So think about it like that. Like when you're thinking about somebody with value, it's like, do you want to always have to look over your shoulder and think that this was a bad idea, or do you want to make sure that you know this is the actually right fucking thing for you?
For sure.
Mhm. So yeah. Value is important. That was also a big thing of mine this year is understanding Jesus. Okay. Understanding my value and what I bring to the table and making sure that I never lost sight of that.
If you can sum up your 2023, how would you sum it up for yourself?
That's a good question. Can I give it a rating?
Yeah,
Or
let's
do you
go for it.
I think I'll give it um I think I'll give it an 8.2. I
Out
think
of 10, that's pretty
out
high.
of 10. I think at 8.2. I think it went the direction I wanted it to go. And I think even though it had its ups or downs, like I never lost sight of the things that were important to me. And I think usually what happens is that like I'll I'll go down and like I'll get pissed at something. Or I'll just like kind of like give up, not give up, but like make it to the point that affects other aspects of my life. This year, I kind of was like, all right, I see an issue, I face the issue, um, and I come up with different strategies to fix the issue. And I think I did that, and I think I did that well this year because I asked for advice, I asked for help here and there, and I took the vulnerability route and I did it. There room for improvement because I a lot of times I got lost the systems that I had in place, or I got lost in trying to be too social and not enough in my business. Like the balance wasn't there as I really wanted it to be. But I think I did a good job of staying on the path I wanted to stay on and making sure that I made the adjustments correctly.
Yo,
That's
what
how.
what would you
What
say
about
the theme for your 2024 would be?
hmm, hmm.
Yeah,
I
like
think
where you
I
yeah.
think I think for me it's I think like I like to use words. And I think for me, the theme of next year is experience. I think
Mm,
not just experience work. I think just experience life. I think it's going out and travel, finding new hobbies, like um doing more extroverted things that make me uncomfortable, just to socialize and meet new people, stuff like that. And those are things like I would last year EP would be like, I don't want to fucking meet people, and I still don't want to meet people because it's not my thing. But I think it's one of those attributes that also lock me in a box sometimes because I'm not the most social person. So trying to get out of the box and experience new things. So I think right now, I think if I had like an animal that I would kind of be, and it sounds really weird, I think I would probably try to be more of a social butterfly
okay.
like next year, if
I
anything.
like that.
So
I like that.
experiencing being a little bit more social in that sense, and try to get out of my comfort zone. That's my theme. That would be my theme of next year. Yeah,
Yeah. It'll be a good year.
yeah. What about you, bro? So what's the how would you rate this year, or however you want to put it, if you want to give it a number or whatever like that, and what's the theme for next year?
This has probably been one of my favorite years in a while.
Okay.
Coming off of leaving King, that was a real rough spot.
Mm,
There was a lot of shit happening in like real time. So like I feel like this is the year that I like really like bounce back from it.
nice.
You know, like even like financially and shit like that. Just some of the hurdles that I ran into from moving in, from leaving that situation, moving into the situation now. Like I feel like I'm on a rhythm. I feel like I built good relationships. I feel like I was a lot more intentional on creating I would say like a life outside of the gym, and like really like opening up capacity for that, involving my family in a lot more, catering to my relationship, and working on communication and being a partner, like all of these all of these attributes that just kind of like make me as like to that make me a man, you know. So that's been the fun part of this year, is just kind of like tapping into like the different sides of me that just go beyond the building beast, you know. And all that did was just make building beast stronger. It's funny how
Yeah.
that works, right? Because like at the end of the day, like the business is a reflection of who you are.
Mm,
So even me like jumping back out there and doing the high rocks and doing the Spartan, being more active with boxing training, and um really allowing myself, like I was even thinking about like how far I've came with the kettlebell. Like I'm damn near self-taught in the kettlebell. Like
nice.
I didn't, I was like I've read stuff, I exposed things, and I just practiced the shit. You
Mhm.
know, from COVID being a thing and just kind of owning some kettlebells, trying to figure out what to do with it. And then when I went to King, we didn't really have much dumbbells, a lot of like free. Like I didn't have like a lot of machines, like coming from Apollo with the hardcore gym and just having all that available to you. Like you really just learn how to make use of the tools that you had. And I think that's kind of what it has been in a nutshell too. Is just like learning how to make use of the tools that's available to you and the resources that's available to you, and then find ways to obtain new tools within the tools that you have, if that makes sense. So
Mm,
yeah, I've been excited to just kind of see like the different facets of what I've been able to create. Leaving my first international trip was this year with the Mexico. Was that this year? That technically was might have been last year. That technically might have been last year, but I went to Colombia this year in February.
okay,
Yeah, so that was cool. My lady's from Colombia, so I got to meet her family from out there. You
nice.
know, so we was like in the city of Cali and just like exploring that. You know, allowing myself to create new experiences, and now that's something that I want to take on to the next year moving forward. Learning how to take more time off. Like last year, I know I might have took like a week off last year, but this year I was like, you know, I'm gonna take the last 2 weeks of December off, and now that's gonna be my thing that I prepare for every year for the rest of my career. The last 2 weeks of December, I'm always gonna take off. I'm gonna prioritize that to be a thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm big on now. Like I want to make sure I have at least 4 weeks of the year off every year. However, I decide to spread that out. If it even becomes more than 4 weeks, that's okay. But I'm like, there's gonna be a minimum of 4 weeks each year taken off. So 2 weeks is already in December. Maybe I'll take a week off around my birthday, which is in July, and maybe I'll take another week off somewhere around the spring. However, I decide to split this thing up, just to like force yourself to work in a system that creates a capacity that allows you to have these breaks, um so it can recharge you to come back to work and work more efficiently, continue to work on building more systems, continue to work on kind of like what you said too, experiencing, right? You know, like I was like, there's no way I've been put on this earth to work hard to work harder, you know,
Yeah.
like that just doesn't make sense to me, you know. So it's like trying not to fill any voids that might be missing just by keeping yourself busy, and just like allowing yourself to like kind of almost discover who you are, you know, with maturity, you know. And I think sometimes you get into a routine where you're just so busy and you just almost don't even know like what you enjoy or what you like, because you're just always kind of stuck with work, 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 and trying to serve everybody. And it's just like, all right, well, how do you figure out how to serve yourself? How do you create the capacity for that?
Yeah.
And as a coach, like that, sometimes that can be challenging because it's like we work with so many individuals on a personal level every day. So naturally, like you're in a space of just trying to figure out what's best for them and
Mm.
doing what's helpful for them in their situation. But you have to allow yourself to kind of create that space to know like, okay, well, what's best for me too. Like that has to exist. And this year I've done a way better job at that. I've done a way better job at knowing like what's an emergency, what's urgency, and what can wait.
Yeah.
You know, taking it has been helping, and it's been helping me create a better experience for the people that already exist. So it's like I'm even a little harder on my filter system to let people into Building Beast because of like the boundaries that's set and the system that's at play. Like if it works, join. If I have the capacity and the availability for you, let's do it. Cause once you're in, I take care of you.
Mm.
You know, but it's not so I don't want to say it's not welcoming because it's very welcoming, but it's just like it is a guarded community that we kind of create with this, and I think you get that right to do that as like a small business or like a boutique.
Yeah.
You know, it becomes a little harder when you start talking about like mass production or like franchises and stuff like that. I'm like us working in the close capacity that we do as like more entrepreneurship or like more smaller business, we do kind of get to create that community for ourselves. So I've been enjoying it, but I'm also working on how to create more availability and inclusivity to reach more people, but also within the capacity of me being able to service them and value them the way that I wish to do that, you know. So, but yeah, overall, man, like I've really enjoyed this year, and at the pace of where I see this going for next year, I just see this times two, times three.
Mm.
You know, like in around this time of the year, like I really just my brain naturally just takes me to like reflecting. And that's kind of like another personal reason why I want to take the last 2 weeks of the year off too, because like I feel like it just allows me to do naturally what my brain already takes me to, which is
Yeah.
like a lot of reflecting, which is like a lot of planning, which is a lot of like gratefulness. Like you'll probably even start seeing my social media kind of turn more into like a appreciation, celebration, gratefulness. Like naturally that's kind of like where my spirit starts to take me around this time of the year. I don't want to cloud that with work. You know, like if Thanksgiving's coming up, I want to be around my family. Let's eat, let's drink, let's laugh, let's play games. Cool. Um, Now December comes around, I'm passing out awards. I'm giving people their flowers. I'm celebrating people, and I'm showing my gratefulness and my love to everybody that's been with me for the the um, the course of 2023. So it's like I want to create the capacity and I want to create the space for these things to exist. Not too much, not put too much pressure towards this end of the year. It's like it's not that time. You know,
Yeah.
when January comes back around, we kick up. You know, and I just prepare everybody for what's to come. But also want to do a good job of this year of just kind of showcasing the year that I had. Like, there's a lot of shit to celebrate from this year, and I
Yeah.
think like I wanna create the capacity to just kind of highlight some of these things.
Mhm.
Like I made a lot of progress with a lot of amazing people. We started the podcast. That was a big thing, and not only did we start it, we maintained it. You
Yeah.
know, that's we're 30 episodes in. Like that's something to celebrate.
Mm.
You
Sure,
know,
bro.
a lot of people might start something and just kind of like, uh, this ain't it, or maybe they don't feel the views hitting it. Like there's that part too. Like the views wasn't going crazy when we first started, and even now, like some of the episodes we dropped, there's some amazing episodes and some amazing conversations that we had before the fucking cameras came on with the good lighting and the microphones and shit. But it's a part of the process, right? You know, it's like some of this stuff might just kind of go unmissing, but or go missing, but that's for us to keep recreating these new moments within what we created for ourselves, and that's part of the process. Like sometimes some of your best work doesn't get seen, and that's why I'm trying to do better at even like making things that I do seen more or highlighting more. And I think being on the go sometimes and just always looking for the next step, sometimes that does get hard to just kind of sit back and like showcase like
Mm.
what happened. And I think I want to kind of do a better job towards the end of this year is just like highlighting a lot of the highs because
Yeah.
there's been a lot of it. Like working with Gabe, one of the pro boxers. He just had his fight recently, and me and him have been working together over the course of the year. He's 3-0 under my belt, all by knockouts. Work, fighting under me. Jordan winning the Golden Gloves. Some of the amazing work that Kayla's been doing. Like I was really looking at her journey over the past 3 years because she's been with me for 3 years, and I'm just like, wow, like we really came a long way. Another guy I've been working with, he lost like 30, 35 pounds in 6 months, like quietly,
Yeah.
and just like looking at little shit that's around me, I'm like, damn, man, we're really producing and creating like a good energy. What we're creating in the gym, shout out to Weapons 9 and Strap City, like the energy that's creating in there, and just like the expansion, how this looks like, it's really feeling like a good, nice joint family in there. So it's like a lot of shit to celebrate. And even them, they just had their 3-year anniversary of being in the location that they're in now. And Weapons 9 is also celebrating like 17 years of being a camp. So it's just like you're just looking around and just seeing like all of the great things that are surrounding you, and it's just like there's it's all reason to celebrate, and it's all reason to be grateful for. Like we all got jobs, we all have voices, we all have people that love us, we all have resources. So it's like to never lose sight of that stuff and to always appreciate it, but still have that hunger and still have that drive to want to take that and obtain more.
Yeah. Jesus, bro. That's fucking deep. I fucking bro, your year has been insane, and I'm like sincerely as a friend, like I'm proud to see like the success that you have and the
Appreciate it,
love
bro.
that you have for your fucking job and like all the things that you're doing. Like like we talked about before, like I used to hate I didn't know Terrence, but like I didn't like Terrence for like no reason. Like no reason just because it was Terrence. But like I grew to appreciate like the friendship that we made and like the professionalism that you have and like the love and the care that you have for your own community is just inspiring. Um so I mean like congrats to you and like everything that you do, bro. Like sincerely, like as a friend, bro, like respect.
Thanks for being a part of the journey, bro. Like we all feed off of one another. It's the circle of inspiration. That's what I like to call it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like looking at your shit and just seeing like how you do things, and just kind of like taking a few pages out of your book and having certain conversations, and just kind of seeing how it's like people pull from each other, people get inspired from each other, people learn from each other. Like nobody's above learning from one another, even
Mhm.
learning in some people's mistakes. Like there's a beauty in that. So and the more mature I get, and the more I just continue to celebrate more years of life, I'm just trying to continue to find ways and try to put myself in communities and environments that allow me to be influenced in a way that's positive to me, and not negative.
Yeah, I
and,
love
and
that.
that first starts with literally just the people that you converse with.
Mhm.
It's the people you converse with every day. It's the people that you converse with for no reason. Like these, none of us are above being influenced. So how do you choose what you want to be influenced by?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
getting on this podcast and talking each week, that's a good influence.
yeah, sure,
Literally, even though we're giving people content, like we're literally building off of each other every week.
bro.
Just to be in a position to do that is awesome.
Yeah.
Whether it's 11 people listening or 1,100 people listening,
Mhm.
like somebody's pulling something from these conversations, and we get those small wins. Sometimes people reach out to us. I heard what you said on the podcast, and that one episode where we was talking about value, and I was like, the only way I lose is if I die. And we put that up on the Sunday, and someone reached out and like an hour later and be like, I needed this exact message at this time. Like I've been going through a lot of shit quietly right now, and I saw this, and he's like, this shit fired me up because this is how I've been feeling. So just like we're out here doing a job. We're out here serving, and whether it's like I said, whether it's 11 people that listen or 1,100 people that listen, it's like this what we're doing right here and what we're creating, it's special. And as long like with anything, you stay at it, you continue to learn it, and you continue to get better. Who's to say how far or how big the reach of something like this can get from two guys just sitting in their apartments, um, talking on a microphone. You know,
For real. It's as simple as that, bro. It's
yeah,
literally
we don't have no special studio yet. We don't even have special cameras yet, or even we have good microphones, but we don't have any like high level top tier thing yet. You know, who's to say it can't get there? But just and it's inspired. Even like looking at Rogue, right? Like Rogue Fitness started from a garage,
yeah.
you know, and like it starts putting things in perspective, like of where you start from doesn't. It's not necessarily where you end.
Hmm.
You just keep doing something, you keep figuring out like who's to know what the future years of this podcast looks like. And naturally from doing this podcast, there's been things and ways that we converse. I take that shit back to my business, and like I find myself just doing little things differently just because of certain conversations we had that might have sparked something or might have reignited something that I just haven't thought about in a while. And I'm like, you know, shit, I gotta bring this back home.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's bro, I think it's all about resiliency and consistency. Cause like I think a lot of people just get deterred by not seeing the praise that they want to see when they do
Yeah,
something like this. Yeah, I mean like we're resilient enough to understand that this is gonna be a slow process, and we're consistent enough to see like the value continue to go up. But it's also like we're also enjoying this, and it makes it so much better that we're enjoying this. If you enjoy what you're doing, you show resiliency and you show consistency, the value of it's always gonna go up. You just gotta keep going at it.
absolutely.
You gotta keep going at it. That's all it is. And I think we're gonna continue going at it for not only ourselves, but to help anybody that's fucking willing to listen. Doesn't fucking matter.
So,
That's it. Pretty much it.
we appreciate you guys staying with us, and we forgot to start off with this, but you know, like, subscribe, follow us on all of our socials. Instagram, Building Savages Podcast. The website is up, thebuildingsavagespodcast.com. You can find all the episodes on there. On YouTube, you can find us Spotify, Apple Podcasts. This was a long one, and anybody that stayed here and listened through it, we're glad you did. This is a special episode to us, episode 30, to end season
Oh,
one, the finale of season one, and we'll be bringing season two right to you at the top of the year. We're coming right back early January. When this drops, it'll probably be around late December, so you'll probably feel like a week or two gap, and then we're gonna come right back.
yeah.
Better content, more conversations, personal, fitness related, however this looks. More guests. We had some amazing guests. I just want to highlight all our guests this year. Shout out to Chino,
Yeah.
episode 13, I believe.
I think so.
My cousin Dre, episode 23. Jordan, episode 20. Steven, episode 24, very good episode, and Ashley, episode 25. So shout out to all the guests that was a part of season one. We'll be bringing back some more guests that's important to us and that we would love to sit down and talk to in season two.
Yeah.
And if you're following us now, thank you, because we started from just two people just sitting talking into their laptop and finding ways to continue to make this thing better, and season two is only going to get better. So whatever you see now, just continue to realize of where we're coming from and where we're going. It's, the sky's only the limit.
2024 is gonna be different, bro, for everybody.
Yes,
Enjoy
sir.
it. Enjoy it. Start reflecting now. I'm telling you right now, like we're reflecting, reflect how your year went, plan your 2024 and stay resilient, stay consistent, and just enjoy life, bro. That's
That's
it.
it.
That's it. We
Plan,
appreciate
reflect,
every
love, be grateful.
all that shit. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Again, like we came from nothing. We're here. We're shining. I'm bald, and we're here. But yeah, we appreciate everybody. But again, like, subscribe, all that shit, or I'll find you. I haven't said that in a while, so I wanted to bring that back. But yeah, man, this has been fun. Season one officially over. Season two coming to you guys soon.
Coming to you soon. Everybody stay healthy and safe during the holidays, man.
Enjoy that shit. Eat all the turkey.
Yes,
If you're not,
sir.
eat all that shit.
Eat the cake. open up your gifts.
Yeah,
Show people that you love them, and be grateful for the people that's around you during this holiday season. They are
exactly.
important.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. See you in season 2.
See you in season 2. All
All
right, my
right.
man.
All right.
Peace.
Nope.